Live?
Yes.
Go live. There we go. And we're back. Everybody, how's it going?
I'm going good. Are you going good, Stuart?
I mean, yeah.
It's fine. It's quite a good day when on your desk because of production notes. You happen to have all three of these, just staring at you all day. Not bad. Just because you take off one uniform, put them on the other, etc. Well, I've got to buy some more of these because I only have one, and I've got a whole prodigy thing. So yeah, I might be doing a photo thing tomorrow, and I might have to Photoshop two of these because obviously one. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Well, we're back today to talk about decisions made, good or bad. We're going to talk about it. There's a few decisions in this last episode, so.
Yes, and you have a poll.
It's worth talking about.
You have a poll as well, Stu. You did have a poll, didn't you?
I do.
I don't
it says, go vote on it. It's 46 votes so far, which is good. We're just starting.
What's the poll?
Was Beverly right to do what she did with her and Picard's son? Absolutely. I agree with her logic. Definitely not. No, but I can see why she did it. And in this last episode, got screwed 100%.
The questions of our time, eh?
Yeah.
And I will start sharing and hear from you in a second. Goodbye.
All right, bye. 40 of you here, 26 likes, guys. That's awesome. Hit that like button if you have not already done so. We want to see your likes, and we want to hear your thoughts, and we want you to be a part of the conversation. So by all means, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and click that notification bell icon. Do my YouTuber thing. If you want to be a part of the conversation and have us actually make sure we read your comments out loud for all to hear, the best way to do that is super chatting. We really appreciate all the help and support that offers, not just participation wise, but also, to help us continue to go. We are like the Packwoods. You are smart. You will make us go. And so super chat in if you're able to, and by all means share this content around with anybody you think might like it. Anybody that you know is a Star Trek fan that might enjoy some Trekyards insight. We really appreciate all the shares and just getting our voice out there, so to speak. So if you're able to do any of those things, please do so. But honestly, hitting that like button is the easiest way. It is free, and I'd like to get up to 50 likes right off the start here. We're at 28. Should be very, very, very doable with 44 people here. So by all means, hit that like button if you have not done so already, and help us out in that regard. So you can also check the links down below. There are links to the Teespring and the TeePublic store, which has some really cool Trekyards merch, and there is more coming. I was working on some today, actually. So there will be more shirts and stuff coming with the new Trekyards branding. So you'll be able to get a new Trekyards shirt as well. We will still keep the classics up there, obviously, but branding is life, and we have moved on to Trekyards 2.0. So we're looking forward to seeing what you guys think of the new stuff. So it will be available by the end of the week for sure. But anyway, click the links down below. Check out the stuff that they have currently, and maybe consider getting some. Because some of it might go away, some of the older shirts. So if you're looking to grab some, now's a good time to do so. Not sure what's staying, what's going, but we are working on a separate branded Trekyard store as well for some time in the next year or so. But currently, like I said, the links to the Teespring and the TeePublic are the best way to go for now. So consider hitting those, and I will be keeping you apprised of new shirts when they become available this week. So yeah. New branding, new haircut. No, this is just the haircut I get every couple months, and then it just grows out, and I just get a cut again. This is the way. This is the circle of life, or the circle of haircuts. Speaking of, this might be an ad for a haircut. We just had an ad. Wow, that early on.
Where's the chance of that, Stuart?
Right?
And yes, I'm doing my test filming for the hair that I've been keeping tomorrow, so I'll see how that actually looks, because it's very long in one place. There's a reason.
Coffee.
Yes, there is a reason.
Oh, there's a reason. That's always good to know.
Yeah, like I say, filming tomorrow.
Nice.
It's only a test, though, like I say.
Right.
You can't just grow hair quickly, so you got to keep it at that length when you want to film it, etc., etc. Dear me. Right, yes.
All right.
Where are we starting in this debate? Oh, debate.
We're going to start with the Picard and Beverly discussion.
Okay.
Her whole thing of she can protect her kid, but not Picard's kid, because as Picard's kid, he'd always have a target on his back.
Yes.
To be fair, I understand the argument. I understand her decision and her choices. But at least with... See, this is the thing. This is compared to Kirk and Carol quite a bit. Kirk knew he had a son. And Carol asked him to stay away. Because he said, I do what you said, I stayed away. Because she didn't want, her son gallivanting all over the cosmos with his father. And basically the same reason. You're going to be Kirk's kid. You're never going to see your mom. You're going to be there's things. So the similarities are there, but the point is Kirk knew about David. Picard didn't have the chance to make the decision or to agree to stay away.
Although he knew about David as a concept, she obviously hadn't told him anything because he didn't know what he looked like. Because in the movie, he doesn't know he's David until he points out, oh, is that David?
Yeah.
So there's still a...
Yeah. Well, he would have saw David when he was younger, not an updated picture, because it's like, that's David? Last time I saw him, he was like this eye.
Like, he didn't put two and two together. He had to be explicitly told, so he obviously hadn't seen him since, I assume, baby. Or just, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, just toddler, yeah.
Yeah, because I could...
No, he would have seen pictures of him. Kids grow up so fast. You hear all the time, like, oh my God, last time I saw you were this tall. But
I feel like Carol made a specific, I'm not even, like, he's out of his life, I'm not even sending pictures. Kind of vibe I got.
I didn't get that vibe ever.
Fair enough.
So it's just, I haven't seen you in a long time. Wow, you've changed. But anyway, yeah, so at least Kirk knew about it and he agreed to stay away. Picard wasn't given the chance, and I understand Picard's anger about that 100%. Especially learning that the kid went to school in London, which is like a hop, skip, and a jump away from France as far as on a galactic scale. So it just seems shitty that she made the decision that she did for them. And yeah.
Well, it's also, I mean, let's be honest, not to go too deep, but if your ex-wife said, oh, I was pregnant, I had another child, didn't tell you about it, it's been 10 years. I mean, what emotions does that stir up?
I'd probably be pissed too. Like, don't want to be part of my kid's life, so I don't know. Well, the other thing too, like, sure, she told him that at a certain age that who his father was, make the decision if you want to go see him. Jack chose not to, so I kind of understand Picard's like anger at Jack there, because he walks out and stares right at him, and Will, we need to talk, and just like totally ignores him. There's a lot of emotions that Picard's getting hit with in like a minute or two, and so I don't begrudge the way he reacted at all. I think he reacted quite calmly, considering the situation. But
and you also got to think, he already died once. Yes, he's thinking about. Well, he was thinking about some time with Laris. I doubt he's thinking, oh, the next 20 years. He's probably thinking, 10 or less. Still plenty of time. Just sort of doing whatever, not worrying. So something to be thrown the idea of a child, which entirely redefines his life, and what he could do. Because now every year isn't just casual fun with my girlfriend Laris, who's been retconned. It's now just been a couple of months max, so it's very fresh. Now to being, I could go and spend 6 years with my son, and that would be meaningful time. All these things, learning a new sort of best friend, as it were, especially since he's been alone for so many years, like actually alone emotionally.
That's the thing. That's the thing too. You said he died. He could have died without ever knowing he had a kid.
Well, he did die without knowing he had a kid.
Well, exactly.
He did die.
And that whole I can go spend meaningful time with my kid now is very truncated, because he is at that age where he's got like 10 more years left or whatever. It's and also his son has already been molded into the man he is, and he had no input in that decision, or not that Beverly would do a bad job in that. I'm sure, like as we saw with Jack's bedside manner, he's like a very kind, nice guy. But
although he also steals, destroys, you know,
That's what he needs to do. Yeah.
All this in essence terrorism stuff, but all freedom fighter terrorism, all that stuff. It's like, well, you know, he's not in Starfleet running by the books, and you know, also they wrote the line, you know, I can sympathise with people such as yourself in the previous episode. So obviously, yes, I like the things you do, but not necessarily how you do them. But certainly going renegade, you know, he's not gonna be he's gonna be rebellious his whole life probably. There's not really much, and he never had a male role model to look up to ever. So he
might have. Beverly might have been with like one or two guys, kind of thing, that the kid was around. We don't know.
Yeah, I can imagine they might not say that as part of the storyline just for ease of story.
I don't think they would, no.
Well, my dad, John, was there from age 6 to 12. Where was he? Oh, he died. Oh, right. Well, and 11 to 16, my mum had 2 more boyfriends, Kevin and Bob, and they both died. And well, I've had a lot of dead fathers. Yeah. Maybe it's any complication they don't need.
Well, Trekyard says she's lying. There's more to it. It feels like a cover story. And
Hi, Kevin Cookie.
Murloff says Jack is a changeling, he's calling it. Could it be that this is in fact not Picard's son? Something happened to Beverly, got impregnated by a changeling, perhaps, and didn't realize it, and that's why they're after him, because he's kind of got the DNA of both changeling and human. I don't know. See, Jack is the linchpin, and I don't know why they want him so badly. Because Beverly kind of assumes it's because he's Picard's kid, so they're trying to get to Picard, but I don't know if I buy that.
But there's certainly a case of that's just very... Look how simple storyline's been so far. You can easily trace A to B to C. The son he went to, twist, he's not really the son. Twist is changing, twist. It's like, there's a lot of extra stuff that doesn't feel like we're doing that sort of stuff necessarily.
Yeah.
Especially if... Like, we've spent some time with Jack, but not a ton. If he was a changeling, it wouldn't hit us... in the same way that if he'd been a real focus of the episodes. It's quite a balanced show. There's a lot of people getting screen time. Good for them. So him being part of the puzzle makes more sense than being the literal linchpin in terms of narrative focus.
Yeah.
Part of this grander story makes sense.
I personally can't see any reason that they would want Jack so badly. I mean...
But when he said 20 years of other life, 10 of... You know, possibly like 7 on the run with his mum. You know, any situation doing... I mean, how many things in Cleveland Booker's life do you do randomly, and now that event has caught up with him and say, oh, do you remember that thing from 7 years ago that you did this thing that caused this? Gonna kill you now. It's like, huh? You can't really predict stuff when it could be that random. Whereas if on a Starfleet ship, there's a lot less mischief you can do in general.
Mirage says it's not Jack they want, but John Luke, maybe using Jack as leverage. But why? Like, who has this grudge with Picard? I can imagine more people having a grudge with Picard, obviously. But it doesn't seem like Vadic really was like, oh, he's here, I can get him, I can finally get him. You know, it just seemed like a weird situation.
Put it this way, if they're after Jean-Luc Picard, they wouldn't give Jean-Luc Picard an hour to send over his son, who they need to get Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, that's the big glaring one. Yeah,
they would just ask for Jean-Luc Picard and say, you're here, Mon Capitan, I will literally blow up your ship unless you beam over, which is in Generations. So I don't think they want him specifically, otherwise they would have got him. Now, if they didn't know he was on the ship, fine. But she's like, oh, hello! Clearly, it's not actually about him in that context.
Very good point. Very good point.
I mean, right there. And because she didn't attack the ship, we know they need Jack alive. So it isn't just a biological thing, because you could probably, you know, if we can clone data from one particle of his being, you can probably, you know, a dead body you can grab his DNA from. So they need something that he knows. He knows or he can affect. That's by context clues.
Yeah.
Fair to say?
I would say yes. Absolutely fair to say.
Yeah.
Trekyard makes a good point, though. What if Beverly is on it too? Lured them there to the nebula. Well, I mean, could give way deeper meaning to the trust no one, not even me.
Oof.
Kind of thing. But maybe she's the changeling.
But again, that would devalue the scene we had with them into being
I know.
into being almost not worth anything, right? It's like when you watch when you know Martok was actually a changeling, you ignore everything he did before it was revealed. Like, it's fun stuff, but you don't think of that as Martok's. It's not, right? It becomes a black slate of ignore, right? And that seemed unlikely. Now, not to say none of them could be changelings randomly in the storyline coming up. We've had time with them all, so any of them could be a changeling from now on for a bit. That's absolutely fine, and I could see that honestly being a plot line, because you wouldn't introducing shapeshifters. They've not been utilized properly yet, so they're going to be utilized. I could see maybe even Picard talking to himself at one scene. Certainly, I can see Picard and Riker with a fake, one of them being a scene. Probably Jack and Beverly, but then you got to ask if Vadic needed Jack, and obviously there's still the TV narrative perspective, obviously, pace and tension. But if you've got a changeling, why couldn't the changeling who's on the ship pretend to be Beverly, get Jack to the transporter room or something? There's there's more to this, obviously, but yeah.
Well, Bill Barkley makes a good point. Suddenly everyone's a changeling. Yeah, that's the whole point of the changeling storyline, even in DS9. So, not knowing who's a changeling and who's not, or how many there are. They've definitely done that to the fans right now with this reveal of there's changelings. Because now everybody's like, Riker's a changeling, Beverly's a changeling. It's like, and they're just sitting back laughing because there might literally, this time, instead of 4, there might literally be thousands of changelings, or hundreds, have infiltrated Starfleet.
Or 1. And that's enough.
Or 1 or 2, yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So yeah, it's a very good plot twist to do the changeling thing. People that can be anybody, that's terrifying just to think about. So,
and that's one of the great twists, and I wonder if it was intentional in DS9. The idea that Dr. Bashir is so confident in the blood test that as soon as the changeling DNA comes off, as soon as the globule comes out, it can't hold its form. So perfect clarity. Oh, you're not a changeling. Oh. And then doesn't work. And all of the House of Cards comes crashing down, not just for then, but for every other mission in the entire seasons that happened. And it's the most beautiful, well shit. Because obviously a trained changeling, the most dangerous thing you could possibly imagine. Because they can become water, they can become a surface, they can become bird, they can go into an air vent, they can, I think, become smoke at one point. I'm pretty sure, Odo was smoke.
A fog, yeah.
Yeah,
fog.
Which is, again, insane. And you would assume these would be insane. He was a basic bitch changeling, right? You'd assume these would be entirely amazing. And what's great is that none of that feels out of the realms of logic or canon, because they are mimetic life. They're just creatures that can just be anything. It's so wonderfully open. That's what's great about it. So their threat level is insane. And I can imagine that they might utilize that specific ability, because I wouldn't personally go too far that perhaps there might be a scene in some later episode where Changeling has to sacrifice himself by becoming an EPS conduit, right? And fix something, and showing they're suicide people in a way. They'll dedicate their lives to the cause and become something that is a one-use thing, or add on to the lore of it. Speaking of, though, something that was pointed out online is that the Shrike's computer displays are a modified version of Dominion.
Yeah. But I don't know. Did talk about the Shrike's computer displays, or just talk about the bomb? Because the bomb countdown timer. Okay.
They compared, because it's in the credits, so you can see them. Plus, there's a few close-ups. All the same nomenclature. How do you feel about that, Stuart? That the Shrike is now Dominion design?
I don't know how I feel about that, honestly, because we had kind of speculated that Vadic and her crew are not changelings. They're just working with the changelings for whatever reason. Sure, the changeling could have given them the ship, I guess, but to me, it bothers me. How about you? What did you think of the ship idea? I didn't think they were talking about the ship. I thought they were talking about just the bomb and some of the other things.
No, the Shrike. It could obviously be if you want to go very nonchalant. It could just be, you know, a Dominion computer network, you know, was put in, who's to say it's a whole ship. But certainly you connect that design to things like the Dominion cruiser. There is certainly, I mean, you know, the Dominion bug ship looks like a bug. We say the Shrike looks somewhat like a bug. It's not overly whatever, but it's been 20 years, and it's obviously a significantly medium-sized death machine.
It's not really the Dominion per se either. It's this breakaway faction.
Sure.
Of the Changeling.
But it'd still be utilising their knowledge base to move forward. Yeah. So that's why it wouldn't be literally Dominion, but it's still, they start from here, going this way. Just like the Helios is going to be, you know, Starfleet with a civilian touch, except with the Raven, etc. Which is, I mean, you know, makes it even more dangerous. And the isolytic weapons were Sonar, who we know were the Dominion.
Yeah.
So that links together.
Well, 93 people here, guys. 41 likes. Let's try to get that 50 like mark. And we haven't had a super chat yet. We want you guys to be part of this conversation.
Yeah,
I know. We want you guys to be part of this conversation. So put in your thoughts, ideas, comments, questions, whatever you want us to discuss in the super chat form. We'd really appreciate that because it does support the channel.
Yes.
Helps out and makes us feel like, you know, you guys want us here to talk about these kind of things.
That's true.
Because we can't just, we only have enough of, we only have as many ideas as we have between the two of us. We want your input. We want to, you know, expand the conversation more and more. So, and we unfortunately we don't see every comment in the chat, but if you super chat, we do see all those and read them all on air. So, if you want to put your 2 cents in, now's the time, literally.
I agree.
Yeah, people have been making the suggestion too that the people on the Shrike are actually green. Which I don't buy for a second, because they're wearing masks. And the joke originally was that Vadic is just an unmasked Breen, and that's what they actually look like. So I don't know. I definitely discount the Breen theory 1,000%. But yeah.
Yeah.
What is that picture? Oh, okay. That's after. Okay.
Yeah. So. What?
The Breen.
Oh, sorry, I chat. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't.
It's left just speechless.
What do the Breen have to gain? And also, they aren't. They're clicking. They're not going. Blah, blah,
it just sounds like somebody that.
I mean, if anything, they're Gorn, based on Stranger Worlds, that click now.
Oh, good God.
Yes. We can.
Well, it won't be that. Thank God.
I mean, it would make more sense to me if we just said there are because, okay, so if you say maybe part of the, okay, so this is obviously abstract, but say Dominion War happened, the Dominion were forced to concede and do peace of Federation. Perhaps part of the Federation's peace accord said, we do not accept that you are going to have slave labor, that you have drug addicted, so you're going to make sure they all can live now. And then perhaps, and that was being rolled out, and then whoever branched off said, yeah, we still need slave troops, we're gonna genetically modify a new species who are different, and they happen to be this, which I would think is, you know, because they made the Jem'Hadar.
Oh yeah.
So you know, the Dominion are meant to be 10,000 years old. This is not nothing special for them, especially if they can become matter. I mean, so yeah. So if there are new species they kind of put together, who maybe they took, you know, a different approach when it comes to like armor, etc. So they used the masks instead. Is there going to be a reveal that at some point the mask comes off and there's something? Don't know. There was some concept art released of some mask variants, and some were not bird related, which implies that, as we said in our other video, we assume that there's a directive a la, this is a Dominion Jem'Hadar stealth fighter, make the mask reference Dominion, say. But then if we see 9 variants and only one of them looks something like a bird, clearly the bird was not a motif they were going for, they just picked it randomly, or like aesthetically. If there's no clear direction, then it was just a case of they just said, well, design some masks, right? There wasn't a vibe that was coming through versus, this is the direction we want to go. So is it trying to show us something, or is it just a cool mask? Probably just a cool mask.
And yet not cool. It's not alien at all. It's a bird motif, which is what the ship's named after. The human bird, the Shrike. Seems random and weird.
Yes.
Well, Ozzy throws in $2 and says it must be Monday, not Tuesday, with a twist.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It is Monday.
Kevin Scotland throws in £1. Thank you so much. And Sebastian throws in €2.
Ooh.
A bunch of sissy faces. Sebastian, make out with us. So, thank you, Sebastian.
It's a bit full on, isn't it, Stuart? But
I guess.
I'm not saying no. I'm just saying it's a bit full on. Yeah. I don't know. What I mean, do you think that could they even be Jem'Hadar, but with the new form of control?
No, I don't think they could be Jem'Hadar. I don't like that. Jem'Hadar were so cool, and now they're just not. If that's the case, see, a lot of people have made this supposition too that Vadic is actually like a clone, like Wayun.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. What's their home base now? Because they did leave the Great Link as well. It's foundlings. But these changelings, foundlings. What the hell? Mandalorian much?
Yeah. Now that's actually really, really interesting that you say she might be a clone, because certainly there's a nuance to performance that's just weird, in a good way. And hey now, you're a rock star. What if there's several Vadics, several Shrikes, and another ship did the attack?
That'd be cool.
That'd be
interesting. Yeah.
That'd be really cool. And then what if even there's a way that the weapon the teleporter they got could connect to another teleporter, so Vadic A can send out a portal and then travel, but it's being connected to Vadic B's ship, and so therefore they can form a portal between two parts of space, and then becomes a space Stargate. Because it's not really a weapon, it's like you said before, it's a transportation system, B2. But if they're connected, that would allow her to also.
Interesting. Well, the thing is too, like, when is this related? When is Worf and Raffi's story happening? Is it happening at the exact same time?
Well, that's also very interesting. That's actually very.
That's the other thing. When was this stolen? Where was the Shrike when the attack on the recruitment center took place?
Oof.
Because if it's all happening parallel to each other, that doesn't jive.
Ooh.
If the Raffi story was a couple months earlier, and eventually we're just going to run into them because they're out doing their job, I could see that. But we don't know where the time scale is for those two stories. So
now that would be a hella twist, because we know there are a couple of TV shows where they don't tell us there's a time distortion in the narrative, and it entirely messes you around. Yeah. Bold. But they're not lying to you, they're just not telling you when it's set. Ooh, that's very interesting. And
I don't think they're running parallel. As much as they want you to think it is, I don't think that's the case.
Well, especially if you go with the idea that we know that Riker goes with Raffi and Worf. What if he already did that mission with them, knows the result, so when he helps Picard, there's a darker rationale behind it? Like, he's already dealt with this problem, and so we end up seeing, because that'd be a good twist then, because how does Riker get from Titan A to the Klingon storyline? That feels like it would happen very quickly, unless suddenly he pops up in that storyline, and we're like, oh, there's two Rikers currently in the storyline, because one took place 3 months earlier. Oh dear.
Yeah, so he went and worked with Worf and Raffi, and that's why Troy and Kester are pissed at him, because he took off. That's why Troy lectures him later, saying, "Oh, you just took off with Picard." Then after that, so that could explain why they're angry. It could also be like, wouldn't this be a twist?
they actually get beamed aboard the Shrike or something, and get thrown in the brig, and Riker's already there. Because the Riker on their ship is either a changeling, which I'm still gonna fight against that.
Yeah.
Or like Thomas Riker, or they got Thomas Riker or something. And is it Riker that is with Worf and Raffi, or is it Thomas Riker? Wouldn't that be a twist too? Wow.
Well, and not just that, but in a similar vein, what if the scene we know that happens between Dana and Riker in the Shrike? What if that is after his subplot with Raffi and Worf, and then Vadic says, "We need you to do this," which is why all he did was hide, because his strategy wasn't great. You know, but then again, then that would then undo all of his development in those scenes. Oh, it's tricky.
Do some crafting of story there though, with the time discrepancies. So. Mark Lawrence throws in $5.
Thank you.
We got some snippets of proper lighting during those slow power surges. It looks so much better. Yes, I know. I got a few screen grabs of like when it flared up. It's like,
yeah, it's just funny. All the press photos are significantly brighter.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Stuart, this is the 301 Alien Invaders posted to a chaps, the guy that sketched them. So the final version. This is what they're meant to be. Looks cool.
Does look cool. That doesn't even really look like a mask. But it's like just be an alien face. But
yes, but it tells me nothing.
No, again, it feels very Discovery-esque in its costume design department.
Yeah, and this is the full set of mask variants. Now I'm wondering if one is the back and front. No, and as you can see, huge variety. To the point that some are entirely different, which means that there was no distinct vibe except like a bone, and most of them have a beak, a central beak, but some pretty different design and language.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
I mean, the bottom few look like airsoft masks that you just put on.
Yeah, definitely they have that bone vibe to them for sure. So that's that was one of the directives. Wow.
Because is there going to be a reveal where the thing comes off?
I would assume yes.
Yeah. But then it has to be something we know.
Yep. Has to be a surprise. Has to be like, oh, wow, we didn't expect that.
Because they could all be... The clicks we're hearing could just be translations to the mask, perhaps. Mm-hmm. They could all be Vadic. They could be Wayoon. Jeffrey Combs is back playing every other character. You were Wayoon in every scene.
Oh, the irony. Sebastian, €2. It's the Birdman from that bird race. Oh, the Peanut Hamper episode. Or Reliant. And he also throws in another €2 and says, it's not Jem'Hadar, but Birdadar. Thank you, Sebastian.
Ketracel, caw!
Kakasacel. Jesus Christ.
Okay, but the real question though,
Oh.
if these are changelings, quote unquote, to wit, is there a hierarchy? We don't know. There's a new structure of beings. Is the entire crew, the foot soldiers, changelings too, and is the mask there to help keep their shape together? Because maybe all changelings, without the direct link, they have limited abilities.
Yeah.
And they need to stay in that.
That could be the case. Well, my biggest question is, how did we get on this topic when we're talking about decisions? That just was like a natural tangent, that just conversation about the Jem'Hadar and the Dominion.
Yes, that is a thing that happened, but it was a good discussion.
No, it could be that the changing, yes, they're away from the link. That's why their form even looks different when they change, because they've had to mutate it somehow or adapt to not be a part of the Great Link. A lot of people have speculated that the nebula they're in with the organic or the whatever pulses, just something that's never been seen before, could be the new link with these rogue elements that have broken away from the changelings.
It'd be quite a coincidence and happen to be at the nebula, happens to be the place, that happens to be the thing, that happens to be.
Yep.
But Stuart, I think with 133 votes, we're clear to do a new poll.
Yes.
Was Beverly right to do what she did with her and Picard's son? A strong victory of no. But I can see why she did it. At 61% with a slew of close results to each other. 17% definitely not. 11% Picard got screwed. 100%. And 10% yes. I agree with the logic.
Wow.
Interesting.
All time for a new pool. And it's time for you guys, all 120 of you, to hit that like button if you haven't done so already. We are at 59 likes. I want to get to 100 likes very quickly. So please hit that like button. Consider joining the channel as well. We have no new channel members this live. But if you guys want to join the channel, you can get a rank. You can get assigned a ship. You have some really cool, fun stuff as far as perks go. So check out the link, the button down below to consider joining, or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards. All the same things there as well. As far as the different tiers go, so go check that out. And yes, please super chat as well. Let's get the conversation going. We want to talk about these decisions that were made. We're going to cover Beverly's decision about Jack, and also the Picard and Riker head-to-heads, run and hide or stand and fight discussion.
Yes, maybe not the Riker maneuver we want to keep around.
Yeah.
New poll though.
New poll is: are the Shrike's crew changelings? Any of them? Yes or no? Very simple poll. Go vote, guys.
Yes.
Victory is like. Yes, victory is like. Hit that like button. That's great, Chuck.
He is smart like that. So yeah, so we're talking about the darkness stuff here, but I can imagine that a lot of this was entirely at the time. As in, Beverly tried to tell John Luke 3 times, and that 4th time was when she left Starfleet, because I'm sure she also thought, if I stay in Starfleet, then the danger will still be with me, because I'm such a high-ranking officer. Even on Earth, well, maybe not on Earth, but on Earth, if I had a child, someone might say, who's the father? So I need to leave Starfleet to not let it be known? Would that possibly be why she left as well?
Yeah, that would make the most sense, 100%. Considering people knew that they had an on-again, off-again relationship with Picard. 5 times. 5 times they broke up their romantic relationship.
That's so tricky, because but that does mean her life was defined by a lack of Picard danger. In essence. If she had to go off-grid because her son was Picard's kid, that's so shitty, honestly. If she just told him, she could have been at Earth, although he went to school in London, so I mean, how off the grid is London at school? I mean, not Starfleet, it's not necessarily off the grid.
One could make the assumption that for the first 5 years, she raised the kid off-world, brought him back for schooling, took off and did something to kind of get her life established outside of the Federation, while she left the kid with somebody at Earth to kind of watch over him.
Yeah.
So she might not have been on Earth the whole time that he was going to school.
Yeah, for sure.
But then she's kind of make her a shitty parent as well because she wasn't there. And then who raised him during those intervening years? It just raises a lot more questions.
And it just feels odd even to think that she retired straight away after the E, having gotten pregnant, to say, it's too risky to be public, out in public in the Starfleet world. Because as soon as she goes into civilian town, no one's going to know who she is. She'll blend in instantly unless you're really, really into Starfleet. You wouldn't know who Crusher is. You know what I mean? You know who Picard would be, probably, but Crusher, no offense to her. But so with Riker, you probably wouldn't know Riker until he became captain. So maybe she just retired. But then it's, I always hope that she would have carried on, become chief of Starfleet Medical, and helped, diverse and, lead the medical corps for a long time. It's kind of sad to think she had to give that all up to her kid. That said, obviously, she's had her career. And I am sure, let's be honest, she probably regretted not being able to raise Wesley as well as she wanted to, because she was doctoring at the same time and she didn't give him as much attention as she should have had. So maybe she thought there was a second chance to have a full, healthy relationship. You know, she's in her 60s. She doesn't need to have a career anymore. She's done that. She's become, 2 flagships. Chief medical officer of 2 flagships. That is the top medical in the field. Amazing.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like she blames Picard for Jack's death, for Wesley joining the Travelers. Sounds like
that was not Picard's fault.
Well, it was on the Enterprise. It was linked to Picard.
Picard wasn't even there.
Well,
care.
Just saying.
Yeah, I know. It's funny.
The list she rhymes off, I don't think was very fair. First of all, and I can see her logic to an extent. But you cared enough about the guy that you stuck around all those years after your husband's death.
Who he inadvertently caused.
Yeah.
He sent him to his. He didn't kill him, but he sent him to his death.
Yeah, I can see that turn into resentment, especially after trying to have a romantic relationship and his work taking priority many times, because they're always on the clock, as she said. It was against the clock. They would be out doing something, and he would get called to do something important.
And just for interest's sake, Beverly was 55 in Nemesis, so she's 56 when she got pregnant. So she's in her mid-70s now.
Yeah.
And Picard's his 90s. Which doesn't really fit either, because they knew each other when they were young, but we did know there's an age gap. Let me double check that. That's what the numbers say, but is Picard really...
Interesting. But Wesley was at Riker's wedding. Not officially, no. Not officially.
Well, he is in the movie. There's just more of him in the deleted scenes.
He is in the movie?
Yeah.
I thought they put that out.
No, he's in the movie very briefly. There's just more. Which is the confusing thing, because, he's suddenly back. I like he had temporary go-round. Didn't have to be travelling for... Yeah, so Picard's 23 years older than Beverly. So the 75-year-old Picard got the 55-year-old Crusher pregnant.
Attaboy.
Not saying he can't, but that's he never got a snip in the decades of... Wow. 70.
We're lost like John Lee Blake's and young. Hey, Sylvia's 10 years younger than me. Just saying. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Picard's 96. I'm a father finally at 96. I'm a synth father at 96. I'm a synth father at 1. I am 1.
Oh yes, I'm 1 year old. I mean, technically, you're not wrong.
Yeah, everything in my body is 1 year old. Yeah.
Well, we are still not at 100 likes. Hit the like button, guys.
Let me go check if he's actually Nemesis. I'm intrigued now. I'm like 92% sure he is.
NZ Fade, USS Viagraph. Yes. Probably, I had no idea Wesley was a Nemesis. Yeah, I think. Yeah, there was a deleted scene that kind of explained it, and he had a talking bit. But I think you're right. There was a pan over where you could see him sitting at one of the tables. I think it was just supposed to be ignored, though.
Yeah.
Just change his face in that scene.
Oh, that was before deepfakes, Stuart. But no, the deleted scene is that he's talking to Picard and about he's on the Titan now with Riker, and then he sees this quite cute girl in the distance, and then he stops focusing on talking to Picard, and they notice, and he's like, "Excuse me, Captain Picard," and he chooses to talk to a random girl than his mother and Captain Picard, and Picard's like, and it's quite cute, but also like, well, you finally got a girl, and it deleted scene. His one love interest was deleted. Okay, let's
have. Should have been Leffler.
Oh yeah, he's right there next to Beverly at the wedding as the groom's party.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Shit.
He's not deleted. He's literally. I mean, he could be Riker's best man based on he's sitting next to Beverly on the table. There's only 5 of them: the bride, the groom. Oh, I guess Riker, Picard's best man, Beverly, and Wesley. So yeah, he's one of the 5 most important people at the wedding, along with all the TNG bridge crew. Yeah, Geordie and stuff are there as well.
Damn.
Yeah, he's on the opposite end of Worf. He's as important as Worf. Although, funnily, You've got 5 of them on one side, 3 on the other. One side is very packed, and then Wesley gets the entire side held to himself. Let me find this picture. It's quite... I've never looked at the wedding party before, I'll be honest, in Nemesis. I've never really paid attention to that shot.
Well, Olivia Julius has joined the channel at the rank of captain. So we got Captain Olivia Julius.
I thought she was president.
She was, but then she
Oh.
stopped being president.
Oh.
But that's okay. She gets her own ship now. I guess.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh,
Next
no.
round is ship updates.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And you can't
More
request your own
changes.
ship update. Gibbs puts in $10.
There you go.
Rewatch The Changeling. Tell Worf and Raffi about Daystrom Station. Doesn't say that a weapon was stolen. He just says something more valuable was taken. Could it be the founder? Thoughts? A founder being held at Daystrom Station? I mean, possibly. I think what he's referring to is lore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of ties in with what we know of what's happening this season. So I think it's probably more likely lore, but it could have something to do with the Changeling, sure. Or founder.
I mean, that's bold, again, but that's a bold choice to bring in. Especially if it makes them more of an enemy, as in, like, we are holding one for years. Oh, that's not so good. But I think you're right, though. I mean, you just watched it. I think they surmise it's a weapon, which is implied, but yeah, something more dangerous. I mean, it's clearly lore, although lore is a weapon, but by using generic terms, the audience thinks one thing, but really, you've not said. So there you go, Stuart. This is the wedding party for the official wedding of Troy and Riker, Mr. and Mrs. Troy, and yes, Wesley's right on the end.
Oh, see, they could have cropped him out.
But isn't that hilarious? All 3 of the guys get one corner,
Yeah.
and Wesley gets entire by himself. What was the thought of framing? You totally should have put...
So maybe we can crop him out if we need to. I don't know. Because it would require too much explanation to why he's back. They should have just cropped him out. Let's be fair.
Yeah. But he's in the close-ups as well, though, so you have to remove him. You have to remove the Beverly close-ups.
SVS Guru 2000 throws in €5 and says it's all Shaw's fault. Should have beamed an armed photon torpedo over to the Shrike.
Oof.
Funky. She had her shields down. Voyager Asgard style.
Oof. Oof. Oof.
That would have worked. And yes, Chuck, it could be Moriarty as well from Daystrom Station. That kind of makes more sense. Well, it doesn't make more sense. It makes it just...
Yeah, roll back on that. Roll back on that.
It's tech related. So...
I suppose lore.
I know. That's what I mean. That's why I said...
Right. I see.
Olivia Julius throws in $2. As captain, I declare no pineapple on pizza. Yeah, but as captain, you don't have that much say. If you were a Federation Council member, then maybe you could make that declaration. But
you were right on that counter. My God, you were right there. Because there are a lot of captains in the fleet. You could order whatever ship you're on to be no pineapple.
yes,
They ain't got no power on the fleet.
That's true. You could delete the pineapple codex from all the replicators on your ships. It's impossible for anybody to get any pineapple.
Oh my God. And you can imagine that then there's literally a case where it's now contraband pineapple. And so there are crews who are putting little isolated chips in the system saying, "Computer, 1 pineapple, extra sweet." You have created pineapple, and then it sight beams you to the brig.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Captain Olivia. I'm sorry. Hey, it's not our ship.
There's a
story there
fan
somewhere.
film for you to make there, Sam.
Yeah, but I do the reverse though. Someone tries to delete it, and they're kicked out of Starfleet because of it. Someone from England, you see. Where were we?
I don't know. Where were we?
That's great. Oh yeah.
Oh, photon torpedo onto the Shrike.
Oh yeah. I mean all that stuff. But I mean, you could easily say that the nebula is interfering with transporters, and so the Shrike was implying send them over by shuttle. Boom. Oh my God! Brian has officially outdone.
I see that.
Do you want to read that, please, Stuart?
As an admiral, I hereby allow pineapple on pizza throughout the fleet. Yum. It's great. Just gotta wait for the Federation Council to chime in.
But currently, that is the highest ranking order.
Yeah, but I mean, Ozzy is still a Federation Council
okay.
member. He can chime in.
Sure.
And he says, Ozzy, $2. I ordered pizza with pineapple on Tuesdays. It's only on Tuesdays you can do it.
Okay.
I like that.
So it's fleet-wide legal.
Yes.
But it's like a Taco Tuesdays, Pineapple Tuesday. That's
And
funny.
Raj
That's
says-
good. That's good.
Raj says the USS no pineapple on pizza.
No.
There's a ship name for one of your shorts.
Oh god.
Anyway,
This is an entirely side note. Thinking of shipwreck, because I was doing one the day before yesterday. Imagine the refits saucer section, right? And you imagine the USS Enterprise, right?
Yeah.
How long would they allow a ship name to be, and how much saucer could it take up? Because you can't keep making the font smaller. How much would they allow that? You know what I mean? Like, could it literally be the half ring of the saucer?
sure, why not?
You know, USS Santa Maria Claire the A-4- law was right.
Well, Olivia throws in $2 and says Riker's a changeling, change my mind. Well, that might be the moment in this live where we shift gears to the next discussion, which is just about that. That's the exact thing, actually.
And obviously, we've had time to mull it over, and you've seen other people's reactions online. What do you think the vibe is on that?
We did a poll on it, and
We did.
the winner was that he's not, because it doesn't make sense to bring that back to TNG crew and have him be a changeling for most of the run of that. That would just be stupid and kind of rude to the character.
But we are only 3 in.
We are.
So it would not be the worst thing, but it might not be a good thing.
Mark Lawrence, another Federation Council member, throws in $5. It says pineapple on pizza only legal if drained properly. Coagulated cheese is gross.
Well, yeah. You don't have wet
Yeah.
pineapple on pizza. Ugh.
Yeah.
That's why it's specific. Hey, do it. If you have pineapple in a burger,
Ew, no.
yeah.
Those Hawaiian burgers. Nah, that's something I would be interested
I mean, it's
in.
very juicy. I mean, it's like you really got to fight the acidity though, but it can be nice. Especially if you can also fry, well, not fry, but grill the pineapple and it like caramelizes it in a certain way. Then it becomes like almost warm, sweet.
Well, that's pretty good. I've tried that. I mean,
Yeah.
and Paul even said, yeah, the best one that he ever had was in Hawaii, where they picked it off the tree and then grilled it like fresh.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I love pineapple. I just don't like it on pizza or associated with meat. I don't know why.
Yes, Cayman Reed. Yes. No, it's I would be fine if for a scene. If in the next episode he walks off the bridge, because that could be a fun edit. Not this is a very jolly show. But if he walks into one turbolift, 10 seconds later the camera in the same shot camera pans to a different turbolift, which means it theoretically could have done a circuit. So there is a slight, and he walks out again, says, "Change my mind, right? All power to this instead." And I was like, "What the hell?" Like that, I could see being played for like they change. They're doing so well. The changes have come out in force, and then he gets a fun scene of yelling at Picard, and then a little bit, and then he cut to Riker in engineering or dealing with Seven, or even actually now you've first of all, what do you think of that as a not necessarily a joke scene, but a scene you could do?
I don't want to see it though.
Okay.
I mean, it'd be fine, I guess, but I don't want to see it personally. I don't think that would be very good for the pacing of the show, or just the way that it's. I don't know. I'm just gonna say no.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But then also in a similar vein, what if we get a scene, it's episode 7, where there's been more twists, more turns, more reveals, and you get Riker. We know he's on the Shrike team with Raffi and Worf, and then he reappears on Titan, doing out character stuff, and so you get 2 Riker in one episode. Again, only for maybe 10 minutes of dialogue, 10 minutes of scene. How about that as a twist?
That I kind of like better.
Okay.
Yes. You got to keep in mind too. There's also Thomas Riker floating around out there. If he can come back at any time too. So yeah, I wouldn't mind that kind of thing. That would be better, I think. But SPS Guru 2000 throws in €10. So thank you so much. By the way, guys, we're at 93 likes. That's 7 away from 100. So hit that like button. But anyway, SVS Guru says, would a changeling Riker have known about the secret code? Would they have cared about Picard's family problems to the extent of repeatedly pestering him over it? I think not. No, exactly. And that's the other thing. The argument's been made that that was Riker that did all that, but the Riker that's on the bridge is a changeling Riker because maybe changeling knocked him out, threw him in a closet, took his form, and went to the bridge. Which again I don't buy because they have conversations on the bridge, which are very Riker-esque. And he definitely feels like a captain of a starship. Like he feels like Captain Riker from Lower Decks, the way he's giving orders with the torpedo and stuff. So I don't buy for a second that it's not actually Riker. So yeah, I'm totally on board with you there, SVS Guru.
Oh god, what if they retconned that actually he was a changeling in Lower Decks?
Oh,
And
Jesus
jazz
Christ.
musicians are a big cover. They're actually changeling jazz musicians, you know.
Yeah, all the shuttles on the Titan are actually named after fellow changelings.
Yep.
I just didn't know it.
Yep.
Mark Lawrence throws in $2. Instead of pineapple on pizza, I prefer tube grubs. That's just gross.
I mean, I like gach pizza.
No.
Especially-
I'd rather have pineapple than tube grubs.
Especially when you put gach in the crust, so it wiggles because it's obviously still alive because you only half bake it, and so you put it on the table and you sit there and you watch and everything's bubbling, the whole thing, and not from the cooking, just and as you bite into one, it goes. Yeah.
Wow, that was really appealing. Thank you. And now I need to go throw up.
Look, get it out of your system so you can enjoy gach pizza. Yeah, I will say though, slight retangent, that one of the little character traits I'm going to give Keeley, who's of course Nimmer and Sorn's character in Trekyards, is that when it's on DS9, she really enjoys gach, just likes it, and everyone else is like, really? She's like, it's great, I love it. And so I'm going to buy like Chinese takeaway, make her eat noodles as part of a scene, and like overplay the gach, and
That's great.
yeah, because it's such an odd choice, but yeah, it says something about the character, you know?
Yeah, that's a great character trait. I like that
Yeah.
a lot.
Because it's not innately gross. It's just we don't like it as our palate. But yeah, thanks.
Yeah. All right. So yeah. Now somebody had mentioned earlier, I think it was NZ Fade in the chat, that said Riker is only mad because Picard made him do something that he normally wouldn't do. But like he altered his decision, whatever. But that's not how captains work. Captains, and then you make the decision. You got to own that decision. Once you've ordered it, you've made the decision. It's your decision. You can't put the blame on anybody else for suggesting it. So that doesn't fit with Riker at all. And I really think, as we go back to another conversation we had, I think that Picard and Riker are pulling on
that's a whole
everybody
thing.
on the bridge, in case there is another changeling listening in. This at odds thing, I think, is very much a code. Very much like in Star Trek 2, because a lot of people are drawing the parallels between Star Trek 2 and this season. You know, hours can feel like days. It's the same kind of thing. And it started, I believe, when Picard said, maybe you should start calling me number one. That was the initiation of... They've worked together so many years, they know each other so well, that I think they're just putting on a show right now, and the whole get off the bridge, you just killed us all, is like one of the clinchers to it. See who follows him off the bridge. See who, you know, because if you think there's a changeling on your bridge...
But he wouldn't think. But they didn't know about changelings yet.
They might, though. They might have been suspect something, which you'll find out later.
Well, I mean that's certainly true. If Worf's in the know, maybe Riker's in the know. Maybe he says, "I bet we've got a spy. We know changelings are in right now."
Well, the changeling guy was in the... Well, somebody followed him out of the bar. And then, yeah, Riker kind of glanced at the one guy who was a changeling on the Titan. So could it be that Riker saw him somewhere else in a security report or something and recognized the changeling's form? I don't know.
I feel like if that was the case, he would have piped up more with Shaw. Well, I mean, especially if he saw a changeling was on the ship, say, he would have mentioned that in the several days it took to get to the Elos, and then he wouldn't go to the Elos without telling somebody, otherwise their plan would be foiled. So he wouldn't have known from the initial look. And then once they're dealing with
I think it goes back to the trust nobody. Trust no one. Like Picard and Riker have talked about this, and but they're keeping it very close to the chest. Christopher Peterson says Foley is a changeling. I mean, I'll never tell, but sure.
That's tricky. Because is that a good reveal? Is there a reveal that you cut back to the bar? 6 days. Well, wouldn't be that. Be I guess 1 day earlier, just later in the meal that he has with Picard. Oh, by the way, there are changelings currently in Starfleet. That's probably what she means to don't trust anybody. And then this. I don't think there's enough clues though. I know what you mean, but there's not.
And that could lead back to the whole Worf and Riker and Raffi working together.
Oh yeah,
it could have been a month earlier that happened. So he knew all about it.
Yeah.
Because if they reveal that the Raffi Worf stuff is in fact a month or two earlier, as opposed to running parallel, that would make so much sense. Riker went into it fully knowing what to expect, and he could have even had intel based on their mission that somebody was on the Titan specifically.
Yeah, that would work well. Oof.
Yeah.
But still, going over to Elos seems odd without telling Seven or any of the crew.
Trust no one. There's a changeling on the Titan. We're not sure who it is.
I get it, but if trust no one means trust no one and then you get killed, then changeling runs amok, everyone dies. You have to trust somebody.
You're dead, so you don't care. So.
Huh?
You're dead. If you get killed and the changeling runs amok on everyone, who cares? You're dead.
No,
it doesn't affect
you come back as a golem, Stuart. Don't mess up the future unless they golem you.
That's true. Okay, no, you're right. Jesus Christ.
Look, we know the Discovery can be called super mega top secret, so maybe Riker's golem can mega top secret and never get its way to the future.
Starman falls. Could Picard be the true bad guy reprogrammed by lore?
No. I mean, that's weird, but he's not the main character really of his own show. It's quite an ensemble piece. But again, if you remove anything from the TNG reunion vibe, only Jack can be a weird subterfuge because he's new.
Hold on.
Ooh.
Hold on. I just thought of something which could answer what's going to happen.
Guys, ready for a mic drop, okay? Ready, guys.
They're falling into this gravity well,
yeah.
Right? We don't know how they're going to survive that. So there's one of two ways, in my opinion. Either there's distress call got out and there is a ship that actually rescues them, probably with Geordi on board.
Yeah.
Or turns out Raffi and Worf are actually right there in the nebula as well. They've been tracking them the whole time because the Raffi Worf stuff was like a month earlier, and this was all a plan. I don't know how that ties into Jack and Picard necessarily. However, it'd be great if they rescue the Titan, pull it out with a tractor beam or something.
And Worf's got a beautiful Burrell. Oh, just.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah, I wouldn't want it to be La Serena.
No, fuck no. Sorry, no. Because, if the Duras could barely get a Burrell, yeah, Burrells are easy. It's fine.
I need to see a Burrell this season.
Oh, I know. Else. Chef kiss my Burrell. That's what she said.
That sounds really dirty.
Yeah.
No.
Chefs were ladies, right? Chefs are non-gendered, right?
Yeah. They're not called chefinistas or something if they're a lady. They're chefs.
Yeah. Whew, okay. But the timeline reveal is very, very interesting, although I don't think there's enough clues specifically to Riker's performance to imply that he's super up to no good. And the fact they were so blatant with the, look at this guy, his face is dodgy. Remember this guy, his face is oh, he's a villain! Remember that guy we showed you twice? Like, they're not subtle with those sorts of giant reveals. Same thing with the giant white flare. It keeps happening. So the Riker stuff is so minimal.
Well, speaking of white flares, yep. People are saying in the chat, there's a clip
there should be an ad.
I
think
where there's a blinding light.
Stuart.
Oh, okay.
That's what they've said, Stuart. The blinding light.
Blinding light was an ad. There you go.
Sorry. Hello.
There's a blinding light coming from the nebula, some kind of entity that saves them. Okay.
Entity,
I mean,
though.
that would make sense because there were biological signatures within the nebula, and it's something like we've never seen before.
Maybe it's Q again.
Yeah, well, people are saying it's the Farpoint aliens, and I've seen a lot of speculation online for that kind of stuff. Even it being Sisco, which would be great, but SPS Guru 2000 throws in €5. Oh wait a minute, hold on. Chris Kmo 1 throws in $5. It's not Riker. That's why he put distance between he and Diana. Sure. I'd buy that to a certain extent, but I still don't think he's a changeling. SVS Guru 2000 throws in €5. I think the Shrike wanted the Titan to fall into the gravity well. There might be a second Great Link in there. All this great linking.
A second Great Link.
Theories.
You mean a mediocre link? I don't think it was going to be great necessarily.
Yeah, it's substandard link. Brian Donaldson, member for 11 months at the rank of Admiral, says, in the Frakes interview in the Ready Room for this episode, Frakes says that unlike Roddenberry, he thinks interpersonal conflict is more interesting drama. Hence Riker's anger at Picard at the end. Probably not faking it based on that. Well, that's the other thing. The PTSD. I think the problem he's having with Deanna and Kestra might revolve around the anniversary of Thaddeus's death. To make it a little mopey or whatever. And that's why they're like, get the fuck out of here. And then Picard finds out he has a son that's ironically 20 years old, the same time as that flashback was. And Riker's like, spend time with your kid, talk to your kid. Picard's like, it's irreparable, it doesn't matter. So, of course, Riker's going to be a little pissed, trying to help his friend out. And his friend is just totally ignoring the one thing that Riker wants is his son back. Picard's been gifted a son, essentially, and Picard's like, no, fuck, I don't want anything to do with it. So I can see Riker being a little bit on edge and a little bit annoyed that way, but...
Well, he's also not been in the captain's chair for something like 10 years. Except, obviously, the brief thing in Season 1, but that was obviously, 2 hours, right? And that was... He walked into that as really just a bluff point or a suicide mission, either one. There was no actually, let's save the crew and ship. This is, in theory, his original ship. He's walked onto it, he's been given command, he feels the pressure of that, I'm sure. Everyone's looking to him as a hero right now because he's the old captain and also decorated officer. And he doesn't know the ship, he doesn't know the crew that well. I think that's also why he's on edge all of a sudden. It's like it's like when I'm suddenly go to a set. If I've got an hour in film mode to get all this footage, I'm going to be slightly different than chatting afterwards because it's on me to do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's on him.
Seen you change like that too, and we have to get shit done.
Yeah, because you have to, and it'll be on me if it fails. It's on Riker if they die. I mean, so I can see the fuse suddenly being radically different, and versus as Riker said with Picard in episode 1, time for a joyride or a road trip. He was thinking this could be fun. Yeah, expectations are important when suddenly it's beyond life and death. And especially if, and this might play later actually, Stuart, I don't know if you agree with this, but the idea that we might get a flashback to when he was said goodbye to Beverly and she says, don't be getting in trouble. And he's like, nah, it's just a simple, I'm sure it's nothing important. And maybe as it's the anniversary of the death of Thad. And so he's now thinking, if I have been freaking killed by fucking Picard, my wife has lost her husband on the anniversary of our son's death, leaving them alone after just having a fight about his death. I'm not going to cause her so much pain.
That's fucking beautiful. Yes, you solved it.
It's almost beyond personal. Then you've gained a son you don't seem to care about. I'm going to probably die and leave my kid an orphan. Fuck you. You know what I mean? That's vicious, right?
That would do it. I like that. I like that train of thought. Yes. Yeah. 100%.
It's because if she just yelled at him for going on a stupid mission with a stupid friend who only asks when he's in danger, he's like, nah, it'll be fine. And in this situation, that fuse is mighty short.
Yep, 100% agree. Oh, wow. Love that.
Thanks. This is why we love the 2 Hour Lives, guys, because they really create this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys really helped come up with some great theories. So
yeah. So briefly, NZ Phaeters wouldn't transport them. No, Riker's into Changeling. Martok, Bashir,
everybody.
Remember, as soon as they can work out how to detect a Changeling, is as soon as the Changelings work out to block it.
Yep.
It's just, yeah.
That could be their new. Why they look like melted meat for their new Changeling form.
They just inject themselves with anti. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
SPS Guru 2000 throws in €10. If it is a ship coming to the Titan's rescue, I hope it is the Enterprise F. Give it a last moment to shine before being decommissioned, and not just blue-balling us with flyby to a graveyard. Well, I think it might be the ship that we see in one of the this season on, the one with the damaged nacelle. I think it might be that one. That maybe Geordi's on board. That's why he looks so pissed, because Picard and Riker just put his daughter's life in jeopardy. He had to come to the rescue. Maybe that's the ship. The Enterprise F would be cool as well, but I kind of doubt that one, honestly.
The problem with that, they're outside Federation space. A decommissioning ship from next week, or from the end of the week, is not going to be accidentally the edge of Federation space several days away. That distress call is not getting anywhere near local space. So very unlikely. But then again, the exact same thing, it would not be Geordi either. It's going to be... If I don't think there'll be a distress call being picked up. That I think it's too random. Unless, like you said, unless it's Worf and Raffi, in which case their mystery chase has taken us there instead, then I buy it. Or even, what if Daystrom is actually in the nebula? Ooh! What if Daystrom Station got moved?
Oh.
And that's what's inside the nebula, and it's a secret. Ooh!
I doubt that very much, but that's interesting.
I mean, that would be a hell of a twist. It doesn't seem super unlikely.
I still think though that when we saw Geordi in the trailer and he looked so pissed, everybody's like, he looks pissed. That's why, because his daughter's life was risked by these two guys doing this thing. I think that's going to be the reason for that. Now, Daystrom Station being in the middle of this thing, I don't know about that. I think we see that again in the trailer. We see the Titan flying over top of it. That's that big space station. It's like Jupiter Station. So I don't think that's necessarily the case. Could be the stolen tech is there. Whatever was stolen besides.
If I was going for a giant reveal, the timeline jump, and then that would be a giant reveal, is all I'm thinking.
Yes.
But I mean, it's unlikely. Obviously, it's just a giant reveal.
Yeah. That's why it was moved, Sergeant Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yes, of course it wouldn't be on the edge of Federation space.
Yeah, that was the point. Yeah. Because especially if Starfleet knows it wasn't really the Romulans, if they know it was a Changeling, then their DEFCON situation would be obviously higher.
Matthew DeFrida says, according to the synopsis for next week, Picard and Riker must confront sins from their past to get out of the situation they're in. Which is could be mistakes that they've made.
I mean, Dominion War. They fought in the Dominion War. We just didn't see it.
And dealing with each other, like with I don't know.
Yeah, well, it depends. Very vague. I mean, we've been given this giant DS9 connection, but you know, they could also bring in TNG elements as well. Chris, Mr. Spoiler. See, some things you don't want to talk about because then people hear it and it spoils things. Even if they spoil themselves.
I could check that for fact. I did see that.
Yeah, well, Terry said, we're going to try and remove that. It was an F up in... Which I think there was a similar reveal. It's like Jack's name is actually in the subtitles of the first episode.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's like, oh, look, a reveal. Bartholomew, that's too much. Based on maybe, but not directly. I'm just going to be back in 1 minute to the powder room. Wait a second.
Okay. Go powder your boys. Sure. 124 people here, 114 likes, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. We'd like to get it to 130 likes. I think we could probably do that very easily right now. And keep keep the theories and suggestions coming. This has been a fun discussion, and let's come up with some good stuff. So, but yeah, I'm one new member. So thank you to Olivia for joining the Trekyards fleet at the rank of captain. Within a day or two, with that upcoming video, she will have her own ship in the flyby sequence at the end of the edited content. So enjoy that, Olivia. We'll see what ship you get assigned. Go vote on. Well, the poll's at 149 votes, so that's pretty good. Are the Shrike's crew changelings? Any of them? Yes is winning with 55%, and no is at 45%. So that's quite an interesting. It's so close, so close. It's like 50-50 whether people think that they're changelings on the Shrike or not. I think that's great. Someone's probably looking for the Titan that didn't make it to its detonation on time. Its detonation. Oh, Power 543 says love you all. Oh, we love you too. Don't get any on you, Samuel. Matt says, just taking that out for anyone who's reading the chat. Doesn't. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, there are like spoilers like that are mistakes, full on mistakes. So. All right, I'm going to end this poll, though. Hopefully, Samuel's still watching. So, are the Shrike's crew changelings? Any of them? Yes wins at 54%. No wins at 46%. Or if doesn't win. Loses at 46%. Yeah. I'm only 10 likes away from that 130 goal. So 10 of you out there have not hit that like button. Now is your chance to do so. I would show you the fleet video so I could show you the ships flying by, but I don't have control of that because Samuel's got the streaming software on his end. So, but yes, consider joining the fleet as well. You have the awesome Trekyards official fleet Discord server, which you get to be a part of. You get to talk to your ship, your crewmates. You get to talk to everyone that's in the chat here that has joined the channel as well. And the Discord channel's got some really cool stuff on it. You get to chat with us directly as well. Also, probably a good thing, I guess. But by all means, consider joining the channel. You get your own ship. You get to see it in flybys. You get your name on a plaque. If you become a captain, you get your own ship. And if you become an admiral, you get your own hero ship, which is awesome. And if you're anybody else, you just get randomized and thrown into one of the crews of those ships, where you get to like see what ship you're serving on and know who your captain is from the chat. Hello, how's it going?
Lazarus, I mean, it's not really in our repertoire of ships, tech, and such. How would we do that? Just play them and watch? I don't think many people would watch that, though. And therefore not really worth the time doing it, unfortunately.
That'd be fun for like a Trekyards.
Yes. That is very true. As we have radical format sometimes.
Will this all end at DS9? Maybe. Maybe that white light in the middle of the nebula brings them right out of the wormhole, and they're in Deep Space Nine, get repairs done on the Titan instantly. Perfect.
Yes. That's what I think.
I ended the poll, by the way.
Yeah. It was close.
Very close. It's like it's almost 50-50 that there are other changelings or not. Not sure. Joseph Barbado. I'm on my way to be marooned on City Alpha 5.
Oh.
Doomed Reliant ensign here. He's on for Reliant. Oh, shit.
Yeah, but it's at DS9, though. So
the Reliant, I'm just going to say, the Reliant's at DS9, though, so.
It's obviously, it was all taken out of a museum. Well, no, it wasn't a museum. Yeah, no, it's a ship. It's like the Titanic. It's a doomed ship that you go on tours to relive City Alpha 6, and you know it's you know, there's a holographic checkoff, or he's still alive. Yeah.
No, it's actually just a refit of the Reliant. They scooped up all the parts from the Genesis explosion that they could find and welded them into like one plate, which is part of the ship, and therefore it's a refit. That's sarcasm, by the way.
So you're saying that the particulates of the Reliant became the Genesis planet. The planet then self-exploded to re-explode into parcels of the Reliant to then be taken. Or are you saying that a single molecule of the Reliant was kept and all of the memories of the Reliant was held in it and able to be rebuilt from that single molecule?
Either that last thing or the fact that, yes, the explosion caused Genesis planet. The Genesis planet then exploded, so they used those raw materials of the explosion to put in the replicator to replicate the new parts for the new Reliant. Therefore, it's a refit.
So, so it's the opposite of that boat. I can't remember the name of.
It's both Theseus.
Yes, because they used the original metal from the planet that it was born from to make a new version, so it was the same matter reconfigured twice.
Yes, but all that doesn't matter.
Because it's a refit. Yes. That looks identical.
You'll be fine on that Reliance, is what we're saying. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone said a thing that I wanted to grab on to, and I wish I remembered it, because it was interesting.
That would have been helpful.
Yeah. Well, I guess in general, what's in the nebula, because the decision of Riker and Picard is going to be affected a little bit by the decision. Because in theory, is Riker truly thinking he's going to die? If he thinks he's going to die, then that could be genuine. But then, if there's more to it, as you said...
See, they're all going to die. So that big white light that is... Go into the lights. They all die. And then the rest of the season is just going to be the dreams of their dying brains.
Basically, Terry's made Tapestry Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5. We just don't know it yet.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
And we've seen de-aging, so we'll put a de-aged Patrick in the Tapestry Void again.
Perfect.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Season 2. Season 3. Yeah.
And Joseph Barbado says he does highly recommend the Discord, though. Commander Calkins and him were chatting while Samuel's running at 4 a.m. Oh, well. Yep. You get to hang out with us and chat with us occasionally if you're in there. And yeah, so consider joining the channel. Lots of cool stuff.
It's definitely much cooler than the last Discord, which I've never been into once.
Oh yeah, that was not an official one anyway.
Yes.
Anywho. I hope the Voyager connection to the show isn't just Sevens here, like she has been during the entirety of the show anyways. Yeah, they promised Voyager, and yes,
but I mean, plus, 7 is already a giant Voyager connection, obviously.
I know, and Terry has said there's a lot of like surprises coming up as far as like people you may know. So
I'm just very excited for them to move past a nebula.
It's ugly, yes.
Well, it's okay because it's just the same thing again and again. And like I said, I mean, in fairness, if they've said, okay, we're gonna give them a 2-hour 30 slot because it's sort of 50 minutes is 3 hours to set up the emotions, then every episode is a boom boom bam bam boom boom bam bam maybe. But so little happened last week. What's have to happen? I'm hoping that this next episode will have, they get to the center of this anomaly and there'll be something cool, and then also they'll get Daystrom, there'll be something cool.
I hope this next episode is boring because my rating scale and scoring, I can't keep going higher and higher. I done fucked that up.
I did tell you. I always tell you.
SPS Guru 2000 throws in €10. If the Genesis planet was unstable because it was formed from a condensed nebula, why didn't reincarnated Spock's body disintegrate too, like the Voyager crew from the Demon class planet? That's not why Genesis blew up, though.
Genesis?
Genesis allowed is not. It's planet forbidden.
Sorry, I've got the eyebrows. I got the hair. The hair's big and bold.
Feathers and his eyebrows.
Yes.
No, it blew up because of the proto matter, which was used in the Genesis device. Once you're taken when Spock was taken away from it, he stopped aging. They established that. But I mean, his body was like the only real thing on that. They launched his body onto the Genesis planet, and it used his own DNA to reconstitute himself. So he's fine. He's kind of detached from the planet once he gets off the planet. The planet itself, because of the proto-matter, was just unstable and aging quite rapidly. So it just basically lived out its entire lifespan and then destroyed itself.
Yeah, for me, I took it as he was locked into the Matrix. His DNA was there, so it was being reborn at the same time. Yeah. And as soon as he was pulled off, then the energy that was on the planet, whatever. That said, obviously, he was still on the planet when it was dying, so he should have been dying. Maybe he was dying slowly. I mean, he does become basically the same age as he does in the rest of the movies, and he's quite old as a Vulcan. Yeah, so exactly. You could argue that, you know, he's dying in the sense of whatever.
Maybe he's like 3 years younger than he was before he actually died. It's close enough.
Or maybe 15 years older, and you wouldn't be able to tell. You know? Yeah. Or you could argue that as soon as he had sex, his energy's changed.
Yeah.
It wasn't as connected to the planet anymore. It was connected to other.
You know.
Yeah. What?
Vulcan sex or intimacy gives only meaning to the term finger effing, doesn't it? Just saying. I didn't actually say it, so don't be offended.
I still kind of wish they'd went for the Savick was pregnant storyline. That would have been such a cool.
They were going to.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have needed more TOS character movies to follow that through, because you couldn't stop that storyline. But I mean, I still think they should have done, you know, as soon as 6 finished, start the movies, continue with the Excelsior as the lead. So we're still doing the TOS movies, but now you've got Kirk comes. No, there's a cameo from Kirk and a cameo from, you know, it's Sulu and Mary Chekhov comes aboard to help, and it becomes the B team with references from the other team because they're, you know, 2 decades younger or 10 years younger. I mean, Sulu was great for another 15, 20 years. He could have. Then you could have had Savick storylines, you know. And then you could easily have said that because the Genesis planet, Savick's kid grew up quicker, and now he's going to join Starfleet, and now he's an officer, and boom, there you go, easy.
And we're off on a tangent again.
Yes. Well, I mean, Savick was brought back into the canon like 3 weeks ago, so.
She was, yes, indeed. In a good way, too.
It's Captain of the old, no, not the old Enterprise, the old Titan Classic. And did you see that Mike and Terry had a little discussion because, of course, in Lower Decks they showed the gold Titans in the briefing room, and there's like a loads of ships that aren't the Titan from, and it's like, but Jonathan Frakes, but Captain Riker, why aren't your Titans, your ducks in a row, your Titans in a row? And Mike said that he talked to Terry, no, around. Terry said talked to Mike and said, yeah, that was just him hoarding. He just liked collecting stuff. And there should only be one original Titan. Because clearly that was showing the legacy of the Titans. But where was the Titan Savick? There was no Titan Savick. Yeah. Bit annoying of Terry to retcon Mike's show from only 2 years ago. It's like...
Yeah.
It wasn't very long ago that was a thing.
Yeah, we should look at that lineup again. It'd be interesting. Anyhow. Where were we? Falling into a nebula.
Yeah.
Picard and Riker at odds with each other.
Because clearly by this production photo we're going to get them back together, working together with the Crushers.
Is that Picard in the captain's seat now, though?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yep. So maybe Riker's like, Admiral. Maybe he gets proven right. Riker's like, just take command. It's fine.
I don't know. I don't think they could just say I'm Admiral. I'm pulling rank. That's kind of broken.
No, I don't think he would. I don't think he would do that on Will anyway.
Well, I think you'd have to unfortunately have Will breaking down a bit and making wrong decisions after another. And Picard saying, F this, you've got emotional damage from Kestra, I've got emotional something to live for the Crushers. Or Riker eating the biggest humble pie ever. Because perhaps... Oh, I don't know, because I was going to say, we quite like the idea that the Shrike weapons are hollow illusion. She's only got limited weapons, which is awesome. Which would mean, if that was revealed, it would mean that Picard's strategy of fight has merit, because they could have destroyed the Shrike, or at least damaged it a lot.
Well,
which is great. And it's like him saying, well, it makes no sense, because, especially, sorry to keep going, but it also makes sense that when Beverly says, who is she? That's a warship. Well, it's not a warship. It's a ship that are bluffing. Double reveal. So if Picard's gut had been right, this makes no sense. Crusher is not that important. It's just part of the bigger thing. If you attack straight away, we had no enough defensive ability to kind of at least disable them. Could have been interesting.
I was going to say, based on this picture, it looks like whatever has saved them from the gravity well, big bright light, is talking to them on screen.
Nagilum.
I thought Nagilum when I first saw it, yeah. And I didn't say anything, and I wish I would have.
Or anyhow. God.
Oh, God.
I have wanted a ship for 120 years.
And I know you have a question. What does God need with a starship? I have an answer.
To get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, what if it's just a portal to Shakari?
Oh, good God.
Yeah. It's just God. God being. Hey, if we're going TNG movies,
Sure it's not Katea?
Maybe. Oh, God. I mean, that'd be kind of fun. You didn't really kill it. It got sent to this place. Imprisoned in its own whatever. Could do a deep fake of the whatever his name is.
Verpine.
What?
Great koala at the center of the nebula.
So he stole Mike's Titan reference and he put the koala in. Fuck you, Mike. I've got the koala now. I was like, what? You didn't tell me.
And Matt does a good impersonation. You. It's like, God.
And then the rock monsters appear on the hull, Stuart.
Oh,
the original Shatner design, and they start clonking over the Titan.
Well, they are falling into rocks. That last shot, you see.
See?
Can
you imagine those shafts of rock appear around them and
I don't want to imagine shafts of rock. I'm sorry, that's the wrong kind of movie.
Oh, you don't like the rock's shaft? Wait, that's a different movie.
I don't like shafts that are rock hard.
No,
just saying. Wow, this is like a late night live or Trekyards.
So, guys, I think we're coming up to our closing thoughts. We'd love to get another $50. Hey, that's the number. How many likes, Stuart, are you going to throw in there as a...
Well, I want to get 150, so that's another 14 likes.
There you go.
So hit that like button. And yeah, super chat in. We want to hear your last super chat thoughts. Who's going to have the last one? Right now, it's Todd Wills. And he says, $5. I tune in as I have been blind for 15 years. Your detailed discussions of ship design and visuals help me build a better image of the visuals. That is awesome.
Well, that's tremendous. Thank you. We make them for everybody. That's you never know who we're doing them for. That's lovely to get some extra bonus from that.
And one of our favorite viewers is named Misha, who's also been blind since birth, and he absolutely loves the channel for I think the same reasons. He's just a good guy, and he likes throwing in super chats and helping us out quite often. So we really appreciate him, of course. And it's always great to see him. I like to make that pun because he thinks it's funny. So anyway, welcome, and hopefully, thank you for letting us know that. I really appreciate that.
Yes. Decisions wise, for Riker and Picard, I think it'll either be a giant twist or it'll be just super linked to the Deanna and Kendra, which will be their drama. I'm fine with both. Both could play well. It's my sort of closing thought. But I think, They're really going to ham up the loss element.
Yeah.
And Picard's going to have to take over because he can pull emotion out of his actions most of the time. Riker's always been more emotion filled. He's more of the heart in any given scene. Have too many girls he chats up. I mean, he's the heart. The beating heart.
Mm-hmm.
Your closing thoughts on the Riker and thing?
I'm hoping it's tied with Thaddeus and that kind of thing. I think that would be a nice, way to close that up.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully everything's fine. Hopefully, maybe this thing in the center of the nebula is Thaddeus. Maybe he's alive. Or it's something that reads Riker's mind and talks to him in Thaddeus' voice.
Or
something like
what
similar.
does Thaddeus need with the starship? Not quite a good ring, but I mean, it could work. As a act it, I guess.
I'm just throwing out ideas. SVS Guru 2000 throws in €5.
By you.
Are Apollo and God the only gods that Kirk and crew have killed, or are there more?
Are Apollo and God.
I think there might be more.
Yeah.
Especially in the books. There are some novels for sure.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, Beverly and Picard. I think, unless you were there, you couldn't know. I think... the only thing I would say is that I would like... You know what? I'll retcon my own thoughts earlier. I'd like to see a flashback where Jack makes it to the chateau and he sees Picard a bit younger, not a lot, and he decides not to and he's there. I think the idea of him getting all the way to the chateau and saying no for some reason, or maybe he has the chateau and then Beverly calls him saying, Jack, I just did, and she didn't know he'd gone. I think that moment would really help, because otherwise this him rejecting Picard from the entire thing does make you wonder how Beverly relayed him, and that judges her more, because if she was always positive, there would be I want to know him. So it's kind of this double-edged sword, I think, there.
How interesting would it be? What would you think the age would be she would tell him that at? 15? 18? Because if he is only 20 and she told him at like 18 and he officially became an adult or whatever, could it be that 2 years ago he goes to the chateau and sees Picard talking to Soji or Daj, whichever one it was?
Yeah.
And Picard takes off and he's like, she gets a flashback of something that Beverly said, and he's always got bigger things. He's always helping everybody. Whatever.
And then they can use footage from season 1.
Yeah, it would be a nice way to tie up this.
It would make the universe feel really small.
It would, yes.
But I do think that's interesting. That was 2 years ago. If you say 18, the 35-year-old actor playing a 20-year-old. Yeah,
Lindsay Faye is right. Up till a 10 to 12-year-old.
Yeah, I would have said.
But
I would have said sort of 12, because there's also in Star Trek world, everyone's kind of more mature.
Yeah. 5. I don't know if that's too young, but Sideshow Kaz stuff throws in £2 and says bloop. Okay, thank you. And Sergeant Montgomery throws in $2 and says Riker gets a taste of the chair, season 2, midlife crisis. And Trickle Power throws in $2. Chances of Sisco being a surprise guest, 10%. Not high, I'm afraid. That would be awesome. I would love to see Sisco come back, but I don't think that's very likely. So, oh yeah, classic for real. Absolutely, that's why he said it the way he did. He would have been pissed. Yeah. Dan Ben, based on trailers, that thing in the center of the nebula is a gravity well. Yes, they've already established it's a gravity well, but it can't be a gravity well that's just a literal gravity well, because once the Titan gets there, it'll be destroyed. So it's got to be something else. Bit soap opera-ish, no? Kind of, yes. But as Jonathan Frakes said, interpersonal drama is interesting. And that's exactly what a soap opera is. So, Matt Munn, why is there a red door and a red lady? Seems deliberate. And the branches above.
Seems deliberate. Yes, it's a specially filmed scene.
As long as they don't mention Red Angel, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that red door thing is quite interesting. Don't know what to make of that.
I have no clues. But if you're looking at this as a narrative arc 1 is, I've got a son! We've got to fight the villain! But now we can into arc 2, which would be Dominion or Changeling / Red Door. So I can see that being logical. And then arc 3 can be Geordie at the museum, leading to big revelation, to arc 4, which is Starfleet, pew pew, bang bang, shoot shoot, die. The movie.
The movie.
Thanks, bud.
That's fucking great. A trickle power, $5. Vadic said we keep our promises. I think this is related to Moriarty.
Did she say that? It doesn't ring a bell.
Could be in the trailer for the next episode. I don't think I've seen the trailer for the next episode, so.
Oh, I don't think it's a trailer. I think it's just a clip, but it's not in the clip. I just looked. I mean, that I assume that's just I'm promising to destroy you. Promise to destroy you. Ah, interesting. Yeah. 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 Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
It's super interesting, and we haven't really established whether any of these decisions are accurate or correct or not, because, you know, it's all a point of view. But it was a good discussion regardless, and yes, thank you for everybody that joined us.
Mm-hmm.
We get 7 more likes, though, before we close out.
I mean, $5 also rounds up as well.
Yeah, $5 and 7 likes. That's easy. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Yeah.
Right now, Trickle Power has that last super chat word. So
yes. And also, and I'm interested, guys, we have also 2 more lives. We have some ideas, but throughout, what would you like us to talk about this week in our Tuesdays and Wednesday lives? We would love. Is there anything you guys like? Yes, that topic, please. Just have interest.
Trickle Power says $2. She said it when she lowered her shields. Yes, she did, actually. Now that you said that, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why I liked her as a bounty hunter. That, for me, really sold. She's not this giant villain. Now, she might be a bounty hunter that's been hired with a Dominion ship or a Changeling ship as the captain, although, you know, if her tactic is fire, I mean, she's not a very good tactician, is she? She doesn't really do anything. She can talk good. It's not really a tactician, though. So I don't, yeah.
And I don't know if she said it when she lowered her shields. I think she said it later when she contacted them and said, we keep our promises. You have as much time as I said you'd have. But
yes, that's, I think,
you're going to come to the same conclusion regardless. So, want to just tell me now? No? Okay.
Yeah, I think
that's when she said it. So,
yeah.
Casey says, I want to hear what you fellows are chuffed about. That gets me chuffed.
Oh, well, that's what we're trying to do. But since we have you live, you might be here tomorrow. Might be here tomorrow. We thought we'd ask.
Aren't you filming tomorrow?
Yes, but, you know. Still need to do the other things.
I know, but as far as I knew, we only had one more idea for a live, so.
Well, yeah, you did combine 2, so. So asking them.
Eric Martin might be the last super chat word.
Yes,
$5.
but yes, thank you. Excellent.
Riker should have threatened to use the photonic cannon.
I hope one day we get the holographic pips back.
That was great. Yeah.
I mean, Voyager, man, some really good ideas. People poo-poo it because it doesn't happen to do the dark storytelling. Yeah, but it does everything else with a lot of vibe. Oh, talk about Discovery's cancellation. That seems like a negative live. That won't cause controversy at all.
We could talk about all the good things that came out of Discovery. And please don't be one of those that's... It brought back all the other Star Treks. No, it didn't. Yeah, they could have started with Strange New Worlds and still had all the Star Trek shows come after it. 2009 did not reignite the love for Star Trek. I'm sorry. Neither did Discovery. It opened the door and made a mistake, and Trump stumbled and fell so that others could fly. It's like, no. That's a false argument. Which Sam doesn't agree with, apparently.
No, it's a too long a discussion. Like, you know what I mean? It's for the last 2 minutes, it's too much.
Well, it might be alive then, but I don't want to do it now.
Well, yeah, because we're kind of the end of our lives, Chip. We don't want to start new
No,
life.
I mean, just this time of year. Do it right before it comes back. Man.
Oh, yes.
Which will be next year.
Yes. Which then tells us that it'll be Stranger Worlds next. I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought anyway.
But we thought Discovery after that. No, not.
Yes, we did.
So it'll be Lower Decks and then Prodigy, but then, you know, if they don't start producing another Picard era show or something of the ilk, they'll run out of shows. You know?
Oh no!
I mean, the fact is, they only have 2 seasons of completed television for this year, and they've got 45 more weeks. Those math does not run at all, does not add up at all. So, and you know, we don't not necessarily say we won't mind, you know, 10 weeks of not New Trek, but you know, that was the whole big thing.
Yeah. SPS Guru 2000 throws in €5. They should put a Worf hologram on the bridge, hail the Shrike, and have him do a little performance. Prepare for robbing speed.
Well, if he keeps announcing his accolades, she'll get bored.
Yes. Let's take a while.
Mm-hmm.
Verpine puts in $2. Pike's hair launched the new Trek.
I mean, that's certainly more true. In a sense. From a certain point of view.
A certain point of view? All right. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We will probably be here tomorrow and Wednesday. But definitely one of those days for sure. And, of course, the rest of the week as well. When the new episode drops, which is very soon. So thank you for joining us. Everybody super chatted. We really appreciate you. Please consider joining, as we've said. Lots of good stuff for joining. And we look forward to seeing you again next time. So until then, he's that guy, Commander Cockins.
He's that guy, Captain Foley.